Good morning, Driven as Fuck Recovery, Brothers in Arms. It is Saturday morning, off this week because we got some scheduled conflicts. Obviously, there's no Santino this week and he will be missed, but I have Mr. Rafferty and Bobby right here joining me. We're going to talk about some stuff in this week's video cast or whatever you would call this. I'm Maddie, as everybody would know. Preface this with, if you get something out of this, we put a few up, this will be the third. Get something out of it, feel free to share it, comment, like on it. Let us know what you like or what we could do better. Feedback is definitely appreciated and will be taken into consideration. We are here talking about recovery topics every week. And this week we're going to start off with talking about planning and execution, because we've been discussing, including Santino, that planning gets talked about a lot in rehab and when you're first starting off, but a lot of times like how to execute and build some momentum and face things that aren't going to go exactly as planned, which have happened for me and I think everybody. How to deal with that stuff without flipping out and losing it and fucking, going back to the shit we know. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'll start it off with, you gotta have a plan to get somewhere. You gotta have a map to get where the fuck you want to go. Is it ever always going to work out perfectly? Absolutely not. Definitely hadn't for me. A lot of shit has gone right, but a lot of shit has gone wrong. So you got to be able to adapt. And I think a lot of it is actually executing on shit. Realizing that this stuff's not going to be easy, especially as addicts coming out of rehab. We've all built a pretty good sized mountain of problems, I would say, for ourselves in our lives that we're going to need to be addressed. And these things are often very daunting, seem like Mount Everest. And, not to take away from the fact that, there's some difficult situations for sure. But oftentimes, at least for me, I've found they haven't been as fucked up to deal with as I had made them out in my head to be. So if you just start taking action, I think that takes some power away from the monster that it has become in our heads. And then once get a little of that power is gone, it seems like it's surmountable again. And you can start making progress, but that takes execution, which means, there's certain things like, and I'll get a little personal with myself. It was like, I had no license for a long time. I had to deal with that. My credit was fucked up. I had a million personal problems. And I just had to start executing on the fucking plan I had to fix that shit. And as far as my credit, I waited a fucking solid year and a half before I really even went after it, because I had made it such a big fucking deal. And now I did it, and in 3 months it was enough to get a house, and I started at 520. So, it's not insurmountable. It's just shit you gotta all right, what did I do? Where am I at? How the fuck am I gonna fix this? And start actually doing those things. A plan is great, but if you don't act on it, you're fucked. It's never gonna get you anywhere. It's like having that map to fucking California, but if you don't actually get in the car, you can get nowhere. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I brought my.
Oh, I should say, honestly, we're in some different plots. I got 39 months here, a little over a year.
2 months.
2 months. So we're coming from two different places here. Just to preface
I brought my plan with me.
Perfect.
For me, seeing it every day is what, I wake up and I look at it, I got time with kids, job, save money, and I've just been checking shit off every week. I get something, get in the doc's house, get a car, job, save money, write music, stay focused, stay sober. And I look at it every day, and I'm running out of shit. I gotta add shit to the list.
That's awesome. That means you're getting somewhere.
I'm getting somewhere. I had no license, same shit. I had nothing when I got out. And just little by little, it's all coming together. You just gotta put in the work.
Let me ask you this: have you faced some shit that didn't go like you thought?
Yeah, that's on that list. I don't even want to say it. But
how do you deal with it? You don't have to say what it is.
No, I'll say what it is. I'm married, and everything's been going good. We've been talking again. Everything was all right. And I caught myself slipping back into that old ways, and I was advised, you know, I probably shouldn't do that. And when someone tells me not to do something, like I tend to go full throttle with it, and I'm gonna do it.
You're not
And I knew, you know, it probably wasn't the best thing. And until she said, like, yeah, no, it's a dead issue, it's not gonna happen. Once she said that, then like the sign of relief happened, you know, because like I love my wife, but it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. And it was hard for me to deal with, you know, at alumni. I wasn't doing good. Like I was fucked up about it. But then hearing everyone talk about shit and, you know, the meetings, that shit helps me. My mindset was fucked up, but you know, I'm dealing with it now, and I'm in a better place. You know, not everything's gonna go your way. And for me, everything usually went my way. Like I usually got what I wanted when I wanted it.
Yeah, but the way that
The way that I went about
getting
doing
it the
it.
way, yeah, right.
So it's like we talk about the scumbagism that's in us.
Yeah.
Like if I brought that out, I feel like I could get my wife back. I would, you know, manipulate the situation
Right.
and do what I had to do. But that's not who I am anymore. I can't do that. And yeah, everything's not gonna go your way. You just gotta, how you gonna deal with it when it happens? Because it's gonna happen. Shit's gonna happen. It's not everything is gonna go your way. How are you gonna deal with it when it happens?
That's it, man. I gotta say, you held yourself to that standard you set too, and that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, not bending on certain shit. Like I'm not gonna act this way.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's
you
hard.
You did it.
it's hard, but
Oh, yeah.
it's possible.
It's a big change, man. These are habits we've had for however long we've had them, man. And shit like that isn't something that's gonna be easy. You know, not gonna be comfortable, but that's what growth is, whether you're an addict or you're not. But like as an addict, we got a lot of shitty habits we gotta fucking break, man. Like find better ways and new ones to build.
Yeah.
And that's definitely easier said than done, but this ain't about easy. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, I'm Rafferty. I'm a recovering heroin addict, and you know, my take on the whole, you know, executing a plan, you know, and what we're talking about is, you know, in recovery, is I think the first time that I wanted to, you know, go through with something was, you know, I had a moment, you know, I was living in my little abandoned building, and I just was like looking up through this hole in the ceiling, man, you know, and it was just snowing on me, and I was like, I need to figure something out. Like I need to, how, you know, I had to come up with a plan, and I was running out of time to, you know,
right.
to get out of this situation.
Right.
You know, and I had one of my brothers from the alumni, you know, reach out to me a month prior, and he, you know, presented me an opportunity, you know, and, you know, he didn't like drive it down my throat, you know, or anything like that. He just presented this chance and choice that I could make, you know, to execute getting out of addiction, you know. And I was like, you know, I've heard it, I've dealt with it with like my father and shit, you know, and like AA and him doing the steps and stuff, and really wasn't like my cup of tea then, because, you know, I was in my prime of addiction, you know, and I, you know, I took that leap, you know. I don't want to say I had a fucking driven plan,
Right.
you know, when I was coming, you know, when he was dropping me off at the psych ward, you know, that morning.
Right.
And, but I knew that, you know, that I had made that decision that I needed some help, you know, and when I seen that, you know, I had the doctors and everybody, of course we think that like everybody's out for us, you know, they're criticizing us, they're giving us, you know, oh, they're just judging me because, you know, I'm a junkie and I'm homeless, and, you know, what's my worth? Nothing. At this point, we're at a nothing.
Right.
You know, and then just making that initial move to like come into, you know, a rehabilitation center. Like, you know, I had accepted that at that point that I needed to retrain something in my body, you know,
Right.
let alone like my horrible physical fucking appearance, but my mental too. I was whacked, you know. I mean, walking around like.
But once you get to the point where normal is living in an abandoned house, it's not, you know, you're fucking.
Yeah.
What you said, like when I was barricaded in a trap house, I knew something. I had to change something.
Right.
Like something was wrong. Like
I mean, it takes, like, everybody has to have a moment, I think, where they're like, what the fuck is my life right now? Like, I did, you know, I got arrested for some shit, and I'm like, dude, is this who the fuck I became? And then it wasn't the first time. I wasn't arrested a lot. I got a bad record, you know, from all the time I was doing drugs, pretty much. But it was just like, what the is this my fucking life? Is this how I'm gonna live forever? I was like, you know, I think 42, and I'm like, what the fuck? And after I got out of the bail hearing, I was like, all right, like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do this, but this has gotta change. Or I'm gonna fucking die this way.
Yeah.
See,
I didn't wanna die that way, man. You know, that is not the legacy I wanna leave in the fucking world.
Yeah.
I got comfortable living that life, you know, the fucked
Oh,
up
yeah, me
shit, the
too.
trap house, and like Jim, like he was the one, you know, messaged me as much all the time, saying he had a place for me to go. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't want to do it, and then I had that like moment of clarity, like, all right, like I need fucking help. I called my family, I called Jim, and they were fucking, you know, all right, we got you. And I went to rehab, and it changed my fucking life. I knew that I could quit doing drugs. Like I knew I could. I just didn't know how to sustain, how to keep it going.
Like how to live a better life
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
didn't-
didn't start until I was 29. I had a pretty decent life, you know. I'd done a lot of cool shit, had some great experiences, but like I didn't even remember how the fuck pay bills anymore.
We've been doing this shit since we were 13.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's more than half our lives. It's
Right.
all we've known, you know. So to try to change who we've been for our whole lives, basically, like it's difficult, but you know it's possible.
Well, that's what we're doing, you know, here, really. And,
Yeah.
you know, like the treatment centers, we've been doing this here for a while, coming in and working with guys. And it's because, you know, we've seen the other side now, where we would like to bring as many people with as humanly possible. And we all know the numbers with this suck, but we
Yeah.
would also, just talking about in the hallway, we would like to see that shit change, even if 1%, right?
1%.
So, all right, man, you were in your story, though. We kind of got sidetracked.
I think guys, you know, like us and shit, you know, how Bobby was saying, like when, you know, we're so fucking deep into the shit, you know, we think there's gotta be no other way, you know, like, because there was times, man, where I was just like, I had accepted, like, this is it, man, like,
Yeah.
This is my life.
You know?
What a hopeless fucking feeling
Yeah.
that is, too,
Yeah,
you
you
know?
know?
But
Well,
I got comfortable with it, too.
yeah,
Like, I lived in a shitty situation, not like you guys. I mean, I had a shitty marriage, but I had a nice place to stay. I stayed in it for a long time just because I could fucking get high
yeah,
and fucking do what I wanted to do and stay comfortable.
fucking weak.
How the fuck comfortable is that, though? You know what I mean? Like, I was a miserable motherfucker, but to me, that was better than doing something else for a
Yes.
long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that shit for fucking since I was a kid, man. You know, I did fucking just like hitting puberty, man. I was fucking cracking my first beer, you know, chasing that shit.
I mean,
But
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
what I think what you know was nice though about coming to a treatment facility where you know a bunch of other addicts were working too. You know.
Yeah, this place is unique that way.
Yeah, you know, and what I was like.
They went through the same shit we went through.
Right.
You know?
I respected
And
that a lot more
Yeah.
sitting as a client. I was
Someone
like,
trying
this
to tell
motherfucker's
you
been here.
Yeah.
someone trying to tell you something that like they don't like haven't experienced. It's hard to like listen to shit like that. But when
Yes.
they've gone through it, it's you know you tend to listen more.
I have sat with people in my family, you know, and like they want to, well, can you explain to me why? I'm like, I can't. I've tried. And people that haven't been there are just never going to understand it. And that's fucking great. Good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish this shit on my worst enemy, to
No.
tell you the truth, man, because it's a misery. It's not explainable. And the magnetism to it, and like, why the fuck you don't walk away? I can't. I mean, it's hard to even explain.
When
man.
I realized that my kids couldn't get me out of this shit, like, and I was aware of it, like, my kids are suffering, they're hurting, and nothing clicked. That's not what got me to get sober, like, and I was okay with that. Like, the fact that I was okay with hurting my kids and my family, like, that's a fucking problem. And,
That's pretty much where I got to at the end too.
you know, it's like, what the fuck, man? But that's this disease. Like, it doesn't care what you have going on, who you have in your life. Like, if it wants you, it's gonna take you.
You don't even give a fuck about yourself, really.
No,
Like,
not at all.
I probably care more about other people than me. Like, and that's not even accurate. Like, you know how many times I would tell myself, "Oh, I'm just hurting me." That's bullshit too.
No, you're hurting everyone
I
around
fucking
you.
justified my shit for years that way, and I'm like, man, I was destroying my fucking father, my family, the people around me, and couldn't see past my addiction to even fucking see the fact that I was hurting way more people than just me. But I mean, I was killing myself.
Yeah.
See,
Slowly.
I said this when I was at ECS, that I had people, like, cause for a while, like, had a job, take care of my shit. I had my kids all the time while I was in addiction. And I had people around me telling me, oh, you're such a good dad. Like, you're always there with your kids. And I didn't believe that, but my addiction loved fucking hearing that.
Oh yeah, man.
Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
fed off that, you know, and like that's what kept me going, you know, in the drug shit. Like, I am around my kids. I am doing what I have to
Yeah.
do. My addiction's like, yeah, you know, like, you fucking love hearing that. And like, I knew it wasn't true, but my addiction was like, fucking loved it.
Same here. Like I still lifted weights. I still competed for a while. I still went to work all the time for the first several years, you know, and then it just progressively got worse. We're calling it a day every couple of weeks, a day a week,
Yeah.
2 days a week, you know. Shit, I mean, it's progressive, as they say. Is that a program thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's not fucking wrong, man. That is true. It just does not, it's never going to get better.
Mm-mm.
It's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And I mean, I think the biggest thing, other than my mindset, obviously, that I had changed when I went to rehab and left rehab was I actually, and I don't know if this is the same for you guys, I used to be high as fuck, laying on my couch, doing nothing, thinking all kinds of shit, like I should do this. If I did this would be great. I could start this business. I thought all these shit that I have actually done now in sobriety, where I would think it, and I knew it was a good idea, or I knew it was the right thing to do. I didn't do a fucking thing about it. I just fucking got high again and laid there and thought about it, you know, for years,
Yeah.
honestly. And then I've executed on the shit. I just done the shit. Not being a shithead, not lying to people, this is all the stuff I started with. It was very basic things. I mean, I have a whole code of shit I live by now that I've developed the last few years. But when I left rehab, it was just all right, just stop being a scumbag.
Yeah.
You know, basically, I mean, as simple as that sounds,
Yeah.
that was kind of the rules. Don't get high, don't lie to people, don't fucking manipulate shit, don't try to control everything. It was okay, but that seemed like a lot at the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I feel like that's should be everybody's main goal. Guys, when we whip through here, and I don't want to say whip through here because I know I've only been here once.
Same here.
I've only been,
It was my second rehab. I went to one in 2008, right after I got arrested, because I didn't want to stay in jail or go to
Yeah.
prison. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do that.
I feel like
Not that I didn't want to quit, but I just wasn't there, like you said.
you gotta want.
Yeah, I didn't want it bad enough, not yet. I had to be miserable for another fucking 10 years first.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, and at first, I'd see people looking at me when I first got to rehab. This is my first rehab and my last rehab. This is what I'm doing.
I've seen people do it,
I'm
too.
sober.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. And I'd see people giving me looks and who I am. It's the fuck you looking like that for? Why are you, And then my counselor said, they're just pissed because what you're saying you're gonna do, they wish they had done, but they're here for the 14th
Yeah.
time, the 10th time.
It's true, man.
It's I don't want that.
I
I'm
sat
not-
in groups listening to people say this is my 20th treatment, and
That's
whatever.
right.
And not that there's anything wrong with it, man. If that's
Exactly.
what it takes, that's what it takes. But I sat there and go,
Exactly.
fuck that.
Fuck.
I
that.
get it right the fuck now. I remember telling Doc, I'm not gonna give his name, but he asked me why are you doing this? And I said, I either get it right or I'm gonna die. And he's like, you suicidal? I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But I either fucking figure it out or I'll be dead for the rest of whatever the fuck days I have left, basically. And that, to me, I'm not doing it, man. I'm not coming in and out of this shit time in and time out. For me, that was just how I looked at it, I know plenty of guys that have done great after 20 treatments.
Yeah.
Steve being one of them,
Yeah.
whatever it takes, it takes. It's just in my mind, like I got sober and fucked up myself. Fucking, I can't even count how many times in that period between the first rehab and the second one.
Yeah.
Like, and I would get 6 months sometimes or 9 months, but I didn't ever really change anything other than the fact that I wasn't high.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like eventually it would always just come back around because I would kind of deal with something that happened the same way I always deal with something that happened. I'm gonna get fucked up and get my mind out of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just fixing it or handling it, I'm gonna get fucking high and handle it.
Yeah. That works out.
Yeah, really well.
There's only two things that could have dead or in jail. And like you were saying, like we're all criminals. And like I used to pride myself on I have no criminal record. I've been arrested several times, never been to jail, never been to county, no felonies. I was a smart criminal.
That's good.
You know, so like there wasn't to me, it wasn't death or jail, it was death. Like that was the only other option.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a year in prison. That didn't straighten me the fuck out. That's what, like, people talk about their lows. I've had a lot of them, man. And whatever reason, the last time was just, I think it was because I was just sick of my own shit. And like, I had become somebody that was completely unacceptable to me, finally. To where I was like, fuck, this is it, man. It gets done. And I think that's why why I was able to execute better on the shit I knew I should do probably for years and years and years. Like, it's just like, I either fucking execute or I fucking sit and think about it, and I know where that's gonna go for me.
Yeah. Yeah, self-pity, all that fucking mental health bullshit starts kicking in, man. Oh yeah, it can drive you into some places that ain't supposed to be for humans. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
It's fucking, it gets wild, you know?
And like I procrastinated on so much shit for so long. I mean, there's no other real word to use for it. I mean, like I said, talking about knowing the things they should do and not doing them.
Yeah.
That is what it basically boils down to.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And now I just, like, if I think something's a fucking good idea, or if I can help myself or somebody else with it, I just do it and figure it out as I go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, that's been better for me, at least.
Yeah.
Taking action is better than thinking about shit forever.
Just do it.
Yeah, if it's a good enough idea to me that it sounds like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. And it tends to work out when you just fucking execute, instead of thinking about shit, just do it. Like what's the worst that can happen?
Right, and honestly, we're sitting here in different points, but your life's going right. I mean, I know you got some fucking amazing shit going on. I'm more than welcome to talk about it if you want to, like the difference in the last year, where you're standing now, or like, basically.
Fuck, man, I mean, just like even when I was talking about, a little over a year ago, I was just another little Chicago street rat, man. I was just running it and trying to make it, man. Just getting that next piece of cheese, dude. Every day, in a giant circle. I didn't know how to get out of it. And then, we were talking about the executing a plan and all that, and it was real difficult for me for a long time to get onto something in particular, just like sobriety or doing my laundry or, what I'm saying, taking a shower.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you're right.
That type of shit, and when I came here and I didn't know how to make a plan. I didn't know how to make a fucking plan. I didn't know what to do. I just thought like I was, there was always that thought in my head, like, I'm just gonna probably, come here and, I was telling somebody this the other day. I'm like, it's like recharge my battery and then go back out. And then, I had some time to take some suggestions from guys that have been where I was, and then I'm seeing them pulling up in cars. Like, hey, guys like us don't have cars.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean?
Or Harleys, right?
Yeah. Or guys what do you mean? There's a group of junkies living in a house that ain't using, and they're all trying to get better.
Right.
Sober living. What's that?
I've never heard it like that before. That's awesome. That's true.
It is.
That's
man.
fucking cool. I never thought of it that way though.
And I. That's kind of where my plans took off at, and then, you know, I looked at like guys that were just, you know, just a couple days sober, and you know, guys I was in treatment with, and guys that like were just like in the alumni at that time, you know, and I was like, oh man, you know, just even looking into like the group of guys and going like, wow, that motherfucker looks healthy. Like,
Yeah.
well, man, I ain't seen one of you in a long time, man. You know.
Yeah.
I want to look as handsome as him, you know?
Yeah,
You
man.
know?
That's with you and Keen. Like, you know, I've known you fucking 18 years, and I'm sitting on the, you know, the ECS side, you guys are on the other side. I'm just like looking at you guys, seeing everything you've got. It's like we were in the gutter together. It's like, fuck, man. They got jobs. They both look clean as hell. It's like,
Shows you what's possible.
that,
man.
It's like I see my boys doing it. I'm like, that's what the fuck I want. And like, I'm doing it now. Like, I'm in it now, you know? Like, you guys, like, I joke around about it. Like, if you told me fucking 18 years ago that I would look up to Mike Keene and Jim Rafferty, I'm like, for what?
Yeah, I mean,
what? You know, and like I do, you guys were a big motivation for me, you know? Like, I seen you doing it, and I was like, all right, like, I got this. Like, I could do it.
I'm going to clarify, just because I don't think we ever said it on here, what alumni is. Where we went to treatment, there's two centers here in Illinois. I went to, well, we all went to, we went to two, we went to one, whatever. We come back every Thursday night as alumni from here to sit in a group with the guys that are here currently and talk about some real shit, basically. Kind of like what we're doing here, but in a setting with those 32 guys from the two places, and then, you know, alumni's got fucking huge. I don't know.
Huge.
Probably 30 to 50 guys coming every week. You know, just to kind of show what we're doing, you know, and talk about some real issues and shit we face that they're worried about facing, whatever. But it's kind of a big group effort to like show people what's possible and how the fuck we're doing it, you know, and address, you know, and that's what we do, like the groups I do every week, you know, and I people come, you've come, you know, Steve and Santino do it on a regular basis, but you know, I hear as many people as possible. We do it on a smaller scale with just a couple, 2-3 of us on Thursdays and Sundays sitting in here, you know, with all the guys that do them separately, but and just, you know, talk about like, dude, this is what you're gonna be looking at when you leave, and this is the kind of shit you're gonna face, and this is how to fucking face it, or here's some ideas anyway, you know, this is what we've done.
Yeah.
You know, just to throw out some options, man.
Yeah.
You know, because fuck, man, when I had a good plan when I left, but dude, like, you know, you're leaving going, holy fuck, like, all right, now I gotta put this shit into practice. You know, I went to a sober house too, and I was like, I'd never fucking done that before, and I'm like staying in a room with 2 other guys in the city, and I'm like, man, what? I'm like in there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what did I just do, man? Like, I knew I needed to because I couldn't go anywhere else.
Right.
You know? I mean, I could've, but it wouldn't have worked for me, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. You never know, but I wouldn't have been my chances would not have been good,
Right.
you know? But I get there and they're like, you know, doing the intake, and they're like, hey, you're in the room upstairs, you're in the 3-man room, and I'm like sitting here going, what the fuck, man? I mean, I've been to prison and shit, but I'm like, god damn, what the fuck? Like, I gotta live in a room with 2 motherfuckers, like, I don't know, and like, I'm not freaking out. And then I get up there, it's like half the upstairs, so that's cool, you know? I start trying to look for the positives, because that's something I kind of learned while I was in treatment.
Yeah.
And then the 2 guys turned out to be cool as fuck, man. It was a great experience, but, you know, I could have stayed in that fucking mindset. This is gonna be bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And I pulled out of it because it was just something I had listened to people in alumni talk about. Like, fucking Wes was one of them, man.
Yeah.
I miss Wes, and he's no longer here, and that sucks, but I learned a lot from him, man.
Me too.
Including this shit, because this is something he was very good at, like, very good at. But, you know, I took suggestions, man, and I fucking just tried them, even though it was against everything I know.
Yeah.
And the shit works out, you know. But I knew I didn't know how to do this shit anymore. So, like, fuck it, man. I listen to people that are doing it, you know. And, like, people like Doc, you know, like, this is what you should do, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, okay. You know, like, I don't like the sound of that, but I'll do it, you know. But that's the kind of shit, at least for me, that made this successful, at least to this point, you know. I'm like, I'm never gonna be arrogant enough to think I got this, because I don't.
Right.
You know.
In the beginning of this, you talked about the momentum, and I
remember you loving that.
I had a plan of what I was gonna do, and then you came to do a group at ECS, and you brought that momentum shit up, and like it's just I never heard like I know what momentum was, and then like I was telling you how I was going to hospital after hospital, psych ward, and like I was like fuck this. You remember I calling you like I'm not doing it no more. I'm going back to the west side. Like I'm not doing this shit. You're like just keep doing it, you know. And I kept going, and you're like that was you building momentum that whole time. And I didn't think about it like that.
I mean, that was a real AF thing from Andy Frisella, and it's a fucking great one.
Dude,
and you can find it on YouTube. I think it's just the 2 distinct championship qualities.
Yeah,
is the title of it. It's real shit.
The momentum that was in my head then, and then all of a sudden we're watching shit on TV, and people are talking about momentum, and it's just like that's fucking a big thing for me now. Like I can't slow down. I gotta keep this momentum going, and that's what I'm doing. You know, working. You know, reading my shit. Like just gotta no off days. You know, just gotta keep fucking going.
There really isn't, man, any off days. You know, and it's funny that part of my mindset has shifted, and I don't even remember when it happened. It was pretty early on in sobriety. I mean, I don't know, I went to work and just kind of did all this basic shit my first year, I think, you know, and I kind of started learning, started reading and listening to shit. And I think somewhere in the second year, like, is when I started the businesses. And I was fucking working full time. And I realized, like, fuck, man, like, honestly, I used to, like, just live for Saturday and Sunday. When I didn't have to, I mean, even in my addiction, it was like 2 days I could just get high and not have to fucking go to work and like act like shit was okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I would just fucking do nothing. Or, you know, if I worked iron like weekends, I would do that and go make my money so I could spend more on fucking drugs, basically. You know, like, it was the craziest cycle of shit. But then I'm realizing when I started the businesses, I'm like, I can do this at night and on the weekends, which is a lot of work and it's a lot of time, obviously, but I'm like, fuck, man, this is the way to build an actual life that I actually am passionate about. I mean, I love my career as an iron worker. I do. It's cool, man. I've always enjoyed it. I'm 22 years in. I still pretty much like going to work. You know, that's I'm grateful for that because not everybody has that. But my businesses were the beginning of it, but it was training guys in rehab. And I'm doing something I fucking care about.
Yeah.
You know, that fucking matters to me. Like, that had fire to it for me, you know? And then, you know, Doc gave me the opportunity to start doing that group because I was working so much, I was really only getting in once a week to train the guys. And I was having, you know, my guys, like Keen and the guys that work for me doing that, like, they're recovering addicts, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I would never do it otherwise, but they were doing most of the training, and Doc's like, well, why don't you come do a group and talk to the guys about whatever the fuck you want? And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll try that shit. And then I found out I love that shit, you know? And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring other guys in to do it, because I love it, man. Like, they probably will too, and they'll have other shit to say, and it'll be better that way, which is kind of the video thing now too. It's not just me sitting here, you know? But I found out, like, the weekends can be used for so much that not just fucking laying there watching fucking TV or movies I've seen 30 times and fucking like my entire life is I can spend most of my time, you know, like my wife's not in town, so I really have a lot of time where like spend it doing some good shit, helping other people fucking get where they want to go. You know, I don't know it all yet, but I've done enough to where I can fucking share what I do know, you know, and hopefully make someone else's life better than it was. Yeah. And that's, I don't know if there's much better you could do in the world. Like, it ain't money, but it's fucking
helping
something
others,
better than money.
Helping others is such a it's. I
think for addicts too, it's important, man. Like,
it is.
Give back to the shit, you know, and it keeps you right. It does me, like, it definitely keeps me on track. I don't forget where I came from, and doing something good is a good thing for people in general, I think. I don't know, I'm grateful to have the opportunity, and I wouldn't have done this before I got sober, for sure. You know, like, I didn't give a fuck about anything.
Oh, you've been asking me for $5.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, man, for real, that is no shit.
Yeah.
And, like, that has changed, and I mean, that's something I really found I love to do. And that's, you know, and I think that helped keep people sober. I mean, whether it's doing shit like this or going and help people in AA or whatever, man, you know, like being involved in your own life and other people's lives that are trying to do the same shit you are.
Another friend of ours, you know, just got out of ECS, and he's, you know, in the house I'm at, and his first week here, he was thinking about leaving. And we had the alumni, and I went up to him, I talked to him for a few minutes, and one of the other guys who works here, the next week, he's like, thank you for saying that. He's like, he's fucking on his shit now, Rob.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just moved into the house and he's trying, I gotta get this done, I gotta do this, and he's freaking out. I'm like, calm down. you know,
Yeah,
'cause, like,
that's a trap to fall into.
It is.
Because that's how
It's not bad, all bad.
It's
but-
not.
Because that's exactly how I was when I first moved in the house. Like, fuck, dude, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. How am I gonna do it? And now it's like, it's already done. I
But
was
how
like,
how did you handle it though? You know.
I talked to Fisher, actually, when I did it. He reeled me the fuck in.
I talked to Fisher almost on a daily fucking basis.
I did too for months.
You know.
I mean, now we communicate, you know, here and there.
He balances me on a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
fucking
I think
shit.
That is a
Who-
smart fucking human being.
That's
Yeah.
That's the guy who was telling me
Yeah.
about Rob.
Really?
Thank
Yeah.
you for telling
No
me.
shit.
that.
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
him.
that man is a unique individual, man.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that I got to meet him. You know, I remember I was in treatment for all like 2 days, the first alumni, and he came, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he did this thing, and I didn't know him from me. He didn't know me, and like he came up to me in the hallway, and he started talking to me. He's like, "This is how you are," and he fucking hit it right on the head, and I'm like, "How the fuck? How the fuck?" You know, like especially people mostly look at me with the beard and the tattoos and that, and they think I'm a lot of things that I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that all the
Yeah.
time at work with people I don't know until
Sure.
they get to know me. You know, I mean, it just is what it is. He just hit it on the head like that, and I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, like for real. I was almost like, and then he gives me a big hug, and I'm like, "All right, who the fuck
He
is?"
came up to me and
Yeah.
hugged me and thanked me for talking to Rob, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
He's a fucking seriously great dude, man.
Yeah.
And he's so fucking sharp.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, even the time I would work with, you know, I'm like I said, for months and months, man. I talked to him all the time. Like, and he never gave me answers. He would ask me questions
Yeah.
that he knew I knew the answer to,
Yeah.
but he'd make me fucking come up with it myself
Yeah.
all the time.
Days.
That shit
Days
works,
would go by.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be fucking thinking about the shit, you know?
right?
Until until you give a proper answer, you know, he's gonna keep hitting you with, you know.
I mean, there was times too when I was at the clubhouse, and I was like well over a year into a year and a half sober, you know, where I was still struggling with some shit. I was going through some shit, you know, too. And like I would talk to him and he'd say something. I remember one night I was over there, I'm like, "Fuck you, Mike," and I hung up on him, and I'm like, that was a dick move. You know, and then I sat about it for 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck, he's right. He's always right. You know, and I called him back and I'm like, "Look, man, I'm sorry. I gotta apologize." He's like, "I don't care." Yeah, I know. Still, you know, like, dude, I was wrong, you know,
Yeah.
like, but he's a smooth dude, man.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing you get the chance to get involved with people like that.
Yeah.
You know, that really just want to help motherfuckers for nothing other than the fact that they
Yeah.
want to see you do well.
Those are the type of guys
I
that,
didn't even believe people like that existed for the longest
you
time.
know, and that certain individual that we've all met here, like, is one of the main guys that I talk to that helped me execute my plans.
True, me too.
You know?
Because he made me pare down my list of 95, and he loves this story too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you've heard it,
Yes,
you know?
I have.
Like down to fucking, he's like, "Make it 5. And I was like, "Dude, what?" You know, when I was at the sober house, I'm like,
Yeah.
5 things? I'm like, "What
Do
the
that today.
fuck?" Yeah, so like, I did it, and then I sent it back to him. I was like, 7. He's like, "That ain't 5. I'm like, "That's the best I can do, Mike." You know, it's like, all right, focus on that shit till it's easy or till it's handled, and then we'll talk again, you know? That's kind of how I learned to actually execute a plan.
Yeah.
Like, plan them, like, some shit you can actually do, handle that shit until it's either a habit or it's done.
Yeah.
And then set your sights on another 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's fucking something. I have a book. It's something Andy Frisella talks about, but it's something I'd been doing already in like my own way. I had this little tiny notebook that, like, every night before I went to bed, I would write like 5 or 10 or whatever things, like, these are the things I need to do tomorrow. Even if it was just simple shit like pay this bill or
Right.
call this person or whatever. It didn't have to be like fucking earth-shattering shit, you know,
Yeah.
but this shit gets handled tomorrow before you do anything to fuck off, basically. Was kind of my rule with that.
Yeah.
And then I saw him talk about it, and he's like, keep it at 5, which is funny because that's Fisher's thing, you know.
Mhm.
Keep it at 5 because if you make it too many things and then you don't do them, you're conditioning yourself to fucking not follow through on everything.
Right.
I was like, fuck, man, that makes sense. And then he actually has a hardcover thing where you can do this shit. There's 5 things, notes, like a fucking positive saying at the bottom, like another page to write whatever the fuck, and like, did you win or lose today?
Yeah.
It's just with a W or an L to circle every day. And I was like, that just like, formed what I was kind of already on. But man, that whole like 5 things anybody can fucking do every day.
Yeah.
If you make it too many and then you start like, oh, I didn't get to that, that's a bad habit. And I'm like, fuck, I never thought of it that way, but it's kind of true.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And it's like, but then, we gotta stay humble too, because, we're all addicts, man. Instant gratification is, at the top of my list. I want to make that $1 million in my first 90 days of recovery. I want the house, I want the wife, I want the kids, I want the puppy, I want
Yes.
all that fucking shit now, and it's okay to, sit down and, again, for me, like, it was like getting up, like, in the morning, like, making my fucking bed every day.
Right.
And, like, taking a fucking shower.
Same here. Like,
Eating 3 meals a day. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking a week without eating food, dude.
Depending on
you
what
know?
drugs I was using, yeah, same
I
here.
ate cereal for 2 months. That's all I
I don't
ate.
even
I didn't know
eat-
how
I
to
don't
eat.
even eat fucking cereal.
I didn't know how to eat real
I eat it
food.
now. That's like my 2 in the morning. I wake up
Little
starving.
snack.
Fucking, yeah,
Little
like
snack,
bowl of
yeah.
fucking whatever it is.
But like
Honey and
I used to have
shit.
to, when I first got to rehab, I would have to push myself and I'd work, we go to the gym in the afternoon, but like I had to do something as soon as I got up. So I started running in my room, doing push-ups and sit-ups. And like I was forcing myself to do those things. And then, 2 weeks in, like it wasn't like even a thought. I just got up and just did it.
You learn discipline.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Routine.
yeah, right.
That's what routine, my routine was, get up, get drugs.
I have a lot of
do
routines
drugs.
now that, like my morning routine's the same pretty much every
Yeah,
fucking
that-
day. There's
I-
certain things that are always the same,
Yep.
which even before I was fucked up, like I just was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna play shit, I'm just gonna do shit when I wanna do it. I'll get it
Yeah.
done, but I fucking, like I had an attitude about it.
Yeah, right.
And like I enjoy those things now. Like
Yeah.
I'm like learning little systems to make my life better, and like my morning routine is part of that shit. Like if I fucking wake up late and I can't do all of it, it fucks me up a little bit now. Like
Yeah.
I'm like in that reactive mode right away. Like if I can do my routine first, I'm kind of more proactive about my whole day, and
Yeah.
it's just more chill
Yeah.
and like productive. If I wake up late and I like can't have my coffee or do what these, I gotta cut some shit out of it, then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in this fucking space in my head. I mean, I can get it under control
Yeah.
before the day ends, but I find myself in that fucking worked up, like, almost panicky state that I don't like.
Throws you off your square.
Yeah, fuck
That's what it
it. That's
does.
what it is.
My
yes.
wrist was hurting last week. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to fucking lift weights. And it was fucking, it didn't happen yet, but I was like, it's gonna fuck my whole, like I gotta lift them, and luckily, like, I still did it, but it fucking hurt. But yeah, like, just, if I would've missed that workout, like, it would fucking whole day up.
And I think that's something I've gotten better at, but I'm still not great at, like, catastrophizing little things.
Yeah.
Like, things that are probably not really that big
Yeah,
deal to
but-
handle, but, like, at first I'm like, my fucking life is over,
Yeah,
fuck!
yeah.
Like kind of we were talking about this morning,
Yeah.
man, like, and then you sit back after, and you're like, this isn't really that,
Yeah.
this is not that big a thing.
I literally just did that.
Yeah.
I just did it on the way here. I was like, fuck, dude. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it, man. I'm just failing. I'm failing, man. All my finances are so fucked, and
It's like the same bullshit stories,
You know?
you want to, like, the world is over,
Yeah.
but it's really not.
Yeah. Wait, all my bills are paid though. That's crazy. Like,
Yeah, right. I mean, before it was
Well,
like, I'm fucked and my bills aren't paid, and I
Yeah.
still need to get drugs.
What the fuck was a bill? I didn't have no bills, man. I had one bill, and it was a fucking
I
bill.
paid like,
man.
yeah, I mean, I didn't get to that. I still paid, rent for like whatever car I was driving illegally, generally speaking. Everything else, fuck that.
Yeah. Our priorities, man.
Are fucked.
We're really fucked.
Right.
dude.
Super
You
fun.
know, it was bad, man.
I mean, we had talked about like 2 weeks ago. Like, I had no discipline. I really had no purpose other than to get high again, just so I didn't feel like shit. Though that's where it got to with
Yeah.
my addiction. It wasn't fun at all.
No.
Oh, it stopped being fun a
Yeah,
long time
it was just
ago.
like that was my purpose in life, pretty much, and to like lie, bullshit, manipulate whatever I had to do to fucking make that happen.
Yeah.
And fucking, I had zero gratitude for anything, because I mean, there was still things I could have been grateful for. Very little, you know, little things, but
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate a fucking thing, man, really, at all.
I know.
And that shit has all changed, you know, I mean, all those things now, you know, and granted, I could always get better at everything, but.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, you were given an opportunity to like sit down and, you know, take some suggestions from guys with, you know, a little bit more knowledge from, you know, than what we thought we had. You know?
Yeah, right.
You know, we see where our best thinking got us for fucking how many fucking years we were out there, you know?
Right.
I mean, you guys know where the fuck I was at, what I was thinking. I was King Chief on fucking Damon Avenue, you know? I wasn't
Right.
doing nothing, you know?
Yeah, right.
You know, and then I get to come here, get to meet you, you know, a bunch of, you know, the other guys, I have mentors, you know, therapists and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you told me I would have had a therapist when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
I'd have fought you over it. You know?
Yeah,
Physically
right.
fought you.
I
You
didn't
calling
need
me a
that shit.
sissy?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Some shit like that, you know?
I mean, we all took an opportunity and used it the best we could for,
Yeah.
and that's part of it, man. It's off the topic a little bit, but like, dude, if you go to rehab, you gotta fucking wanna do some work,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, you can come, and we see it, you know, you can come and fucking sit here and, you know, dry out and fucking recharge a little bit, have some cigarettes
Do
and
that
watch some
shit,
TV,
Yeah.
and fucking go back out and do
Yeah.
the same shit and keep doing it over and over, but it's, why the fuck bother?
See, I got lucky with that. It took me 3 weeks to get into the rehab. And so, like, when I got here, my mind was the clearest it's ever been in 20 years. So the day I got there, like, I was fucking ready for it. Like, I took it all. Because some people come in there right out of detox and they still got the shakes. And
No, I was like
their,
that.
Me too.
their mind's not.
I didn't even detox.
Yeah.
I sat at my old man's detoxing from Xanax, which, you know, was a horrible idea. But I wasn't going to detox because I'll be fine. You know, I mean,
Some people's minds aren't in it for the first week and a half, 2 weeks.
mine wasn't.
You know?
I really wasn't, man. I didn't sleep. Like, I was, you know, I was in whatever that back room is, 14 or 15
Yeah.
or 1. You know
That's
where
what
that
that
hallway
was.
with the windows is?
Mhm.
I would go out there at 3 in the morning and stare over at the trucking company and watch the trucks and be like, man, I could go out to Vegas and work on the Raiders Stadium. Fuck this place. What am I doing? You
Yeah.
know, like what? And I would fuck with myself.
Yeah.
You know, but I would like, and then I'd be like, no, man, why the fuck did you come here then? You know what, you're gonna go to Las Vegas
Yeah, right.
and fucking go work and make $2,500 a week? How's that gonna go?
Yeah, dude.
You know, like, but that shit, that's how my first week was, like back and forth, shaking, feeling like shit. And then I finally slept a little. And I was talking to Doc, because I wasn't sleeping. He was there all night, all the time at
Yeah.
the time. And I'd go sit in there and, bullshit. And like, he would say some shit. And I'd be like, wow, you know what, man, I could learn some shit from this guy.
Mhm.
Like, maybe I should reevaluate what I'm doing here. But it took me fucking probably a week at least to even get there.
Yeah.
And then in a couple weeks, a week and a half or so after that, I was dead set. I'm just gonna go home and do the same shit. And then, I'm listening to people, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that either. Fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I need to go do this shit the right way. If I want it to work,
Yeah.
I have to do this, even though it's like terrifying and I don't want to do it. But I was like, from everything I'm hearing, people, that's probably exactly where I need to go then.
Yeah.
But I listened, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
hard headed and stubborn, but I let it sink in and I evaluated some shit. I'm like, fuck, if I want this to work, I'm already here investing this in it. Well, let's just take it one more step.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how it worked for me. Like, there, and then, I start talking to Fisher more, and like, I start investing in a little more shit. And
Yeah.
it's just snowballed now for over 3 years. And I sit here looking at my life now going, fuck, man, even at my best days, I didn't think shit could ever be like this.
Right.
And it's hard to believe, like we were just talking before, like this shit, it sounds impossible. And then like all of a sudden, nearly as much time as you think has gone by, and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It just makes me think about how much time I've wasted.
Yeah, you know what? I try not to get caught up.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot where
Yeah.
I was like, man, if I didn't waste 13 years,
Yeah, right.
where would I be now?
Yeah.
But you know what? I wouldn't be the guy I am
wouldn't
now.
be
So
right
I don't
now,
think I
yeah.
would have done shit, probably, except go to work and just kind of existed.
Yeah. That,
Which is cool, you
that's
know,
the
if that's
type of
it, but
shit,
that's
dude.
not it for me anymore.
That's the shit that fucking chops these guys at the knees too sometimes, man. You know, and I see that up front. You know, I mean, you know, I kind of, you know, like to say I like to do what you do. You know, I put myself here a lot, and I have a lot of guys reach out to me. A lot of guys.
That's awesome, right?
You know, and it's like 9 times out of 10, man, when I hear somebody fucking off, you know, it's because of some shit that they're dwelling on because they can't fix the last 20 years of their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a bad place to go.
Yeah.
Because the way I finally learned to look at it, and I've been told this since I was at one, so you know, when I was sitting in rehab, is the past is the past, and it is fucking over with, whether you like it or whether you don't.
Absolutely.
And there's not a fucking thing any one of us in this world can do about that, except fucking do better today.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe look towards a little better future, so you got a little vision of where you'd like to go, and that's the best you can do, man. Like, it's frustrating. If you think about the past long enough, you could fucking drive yourself into fucking madness.
Oh, you'll drown.
And what good is that doing you or anybody else, you know? Other than make you literally fucking crazy.
Yeah. And
That's what I was getting caught up in, you know, like a week and a half ago was the past. Like, if I was this person back then, shit would have been different. Like, I could change the past.
And we
I
all
could
do it,
change
man, but you can't stay in it very
No,
long, you know? Like,
no.
it's very unproductive shit.
And
that's why
But
I
I do
talk-
it too.
I talk
Even
to
now,
the guys.
occasionally, I'm like,
Yeah.
what if I, even over my sober time, I'm like, what if I made this choice different, like last year? It doesn't matter, because I didn't.
Yeah.
And you know what, even if it didn't go perfectly, I learned from it. So fuck it. I use it going forward. You know, like, it's, you gotta, that's a perspective thing. I mean, you gotta kind of try and keep it under, you know, in the right focus, in the right direction, because.
So like I got Jim and Keen and people I could talk to, like Jim and Keen are like the main ones I could talk to. But when it came to, you know, my wife, they were there for all of it. So it's like I already know what they're gonna say, and like I didn't want to hear it. So I talked to some of the other guys, and you know, because they're the outside looking in, and like it helped talking to, you know, because I knew what they were gonna say, and it's you know they're right, you know, like, but you know talking to. I didn't think that.
It's good to reach out for answers you know you ain't gonna like to hear though.
Yeah, you know, and then he was telling me this shit, and you know, then I'd see him talking about, you know, like I talk to this guy all the time, this guy, and I'm sitting there like in my head, like, well, I'm just gonna talk to Keen and Jim. Like, I'm not gonna talk to anybody else. And then now I talk to everyone in my house.
Start, but
It's-
hey, man, you know,
You
you're
know,
running that
you
shit out.
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I made a rule somewhere in my first year where I was like, if I have an idea that I don't want to fucking talk to my dad or Doc about, then it's probably fucking a bad idea right from the get-go. You know, but even if it was questionable, then I would talk to people, including Doc or my old man or a lot of other people, you know, Mike and Dennis I lived with for a long time.
Yeah.
We bounce shit off each other all the time. You know, but that's good because sometimes my fucking thinking is fucked up.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not, like I have a problem and I see a solution, but that's the only fucking solution I see. It might not be the greatest one, but it's like I get kind of one track that you're, you know, single-minded. This is the only way. If I fucking talk to somebody else, there's probably 6 ways I could handle it.
Yeah.
I just ain't seeing them because I'm obsessive, you know, and you know, maybe that's a trait of an addict. You know, like I was obsessed about getting high.
For sure.
Now I get obsessed about shit building my life or helping others, like obsessed with positive shit.
Yeah.
Man, once my fucking sights are set on something, it's fucking like laser.
Let's
like
go.
that's what's gonna
Yeah.
fucking happen. I don't care how long it takes, fucking happening. You know, like, but that was the same shit as my addiction. I just like changed it from destroying to building.
That's what if we put a fraction of the effort we put into our addiction, like we could fucking do anything. We fucking went full fucking blast, full throttle with our shit, and it's like we do that, you know, put that to our sobriety, like.
I say that all the time. You getting people to believe it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, man. If
Yeah.
you can buy into that and believe it, it's true.
Yeah.
They did 100%.
We're all living examples of that. I
Yeah.
mean, and there's so many other people we know that they're the same way. You know, like if you can focus that fucking creativity, intelligence, and energy,
Yeah, fuck
who the
yeah.
fuck is gonna stop
Yeah,
it?
dude,
You
that's
know?
why when I walk in here on Thursday nights, man, I walk here with my fucking chest out, you know, and I don't do it, you know, I do it for my own ego and shit, but I do it to show these motherfuckers, look what this place did to me.
Standing up with your shoulders back,
I'm
and your head
fucking-
high, and fucking
Not sitting no more.
yeah.
I got things. I'm happy.
Yeah,
You know?
right, man.
You know, I got
Yes.
20 guys fucking pulling my fucking long hair behind me because they fucking love me, you know, type of shit. You know,
Yes.
you know, this is what this shit does.
It's
you
a
know?
brotherhood thing, man.
It's
That
beautiful,
shit
man.
is beautiful.
It's really nice.
That's the
man.
word for it.
I went and broke bread with the fucking guys on Tuesday night, man. We went with one of the counselors here. Went and talked to one of his meetings. You know?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went on,
I hate working nights now, man.
Oh,
Honestly,
it
missing
was
alumni
great.
and missing something like
it's great.
it is what it is for a while.
Some, you know, I went,
Yeah, I heard it was awesome.
I went, you know, with Doc and shit, and I was like, you know, when just to like have like, I think I was telling you, like, you know, having like somebody like that, like just like catch you off, you know, off guard, like, hey, you wanna come do something like with
and be
to
an example.
represent
Yeah.
my facility?
Right.
It's like, what?
What's up when Jim asked me if I wanted to do this? Like, I was fucking excited because I love doing. Like, I always try to make not a point to talk in group, but like, I don't like talking in front of people. But like, I like talking. Like, I like this shit. Like, I was excited when he asked me to do this.
Get back. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's what when I brought up what we're going to talk about, which we've gone all over, but this is how it is. What I like, man. But you know, this is good. But and you told me you guys had just had the discussion. I'm like, fucking see if he wants to come with,
Yeah.
man. Fuck yeah, you know, like absolutely.
Yeah, you know that's still. I mean, even though we say like it did go all over the place, you know. I mean,
I like it this way because we're
this
getting
is
the shit that
still-
matters. So
This is still something that like that you know somewhere down the line, if you don't notice it or not, but you notice that you don't speak much, you know, and if that was something that you wanted to change in your life, you've made a plan to speak more. So I addressed something to Maddie. Maddie addressed something to me. Why don't you invite the brother with, and we can, you know, we can do a group. So I mean, somewhere down this storyline, you're executing a plan, even if it's a small one on just speaking up on a Saturday morning.
right,
You did something 1% better than you did yesterday.
that shit
Keep throwing that fucking numbers up, man. You know,
changes everything.
changes a lot of shit. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about too. And you know, and if you think that people like me or Maddie or Doc and shit, we don't pay attention to that, I just addressed it to you because I pay attention to, you know, to your moves, man, because you know I'm proud of you because I know how it's fucking hard, man.
It is hard, and I mean at the
You
same
know?
time, as many less guys than we see doing well like this, we see die or
We see
fucking
fucking
come
die.
back fucking 10 times in a year.
Yeah.
But the death thing's fucking that's it. Your chances are over, man.
Yeah.
And we've seen too much of that.
Yeah.
You know, and you're doing a good thing, man. You're building yourself up, and you can do the same thing we're doing
That's
when
what.
you're where we're at. You know, and that's where this shit's gonna spiral. I hope.
Yeah.
And it's something that changes this fucking world for people.
You know, just like the whole 1% thing that we were just talking about. So like if we, you know, oh, like, you know, just talking about like numbers on like the videos and, you know, how many guys come back to our alumni and like all like if any meetings filling up, you know, it's if I could, you know, talk this guy through detox, psych ward, COVID, psych ward, then hotel stay, still didn't use, and then get him into treatment weeks later, I'll fucking chalk that one up, you know?
Yeah,
And,
man.
You're not living in an
'Cause
abandoned building
I
no
was
more?
giving up, man. I was like, I
I
can't
know you were,
fucking
dude.
do this anymore. Like, I can't do it.
Well, that's
And-
what, you know, people to pull you up when you're in those spots. You know, I have them too, man. You know, like, I put my shit out there sometimes, but, you know, a lot of my shit, if it's not applicable to helping anybody, I don't. Like, I'll talk to Doc or
Yeah.
certain people about it, but, you know, if it's something I think is gonna fucking help somebody else, I throw it out there, because I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck. I'm an open book, man, you know, think whatever you want.
See,
about
that
it,
was
but-
like, hid my addiction as well as I could. I like nobody knows I'm on drugs.
Yeah, I see the same
And I look
shit.
at pictures, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I told him I was sober for an entire year, and I wasn't.
Oh, I mean, I bullshitted motherfuckers I worked with forever, man.
But,
They
like-
all knew. Like, I know now.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like, I'm looking at guys saying the same shit I did. They're all
Yeah.
coked up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure
Once-
nobody fucking, nobody knew.
Yeah.
Once it was like
It's better to be open.
fully out there, and like it's when I first said the words to my mom that I was doing heroin, like that fucking like
It's a
saying
hard
those
conversation.
words, man, like I couldn't believe I said it. And then, but like it's like it's all right now. It's fucking out.
The
there.
power's gone,
It's
man.
out there.
Like, I don't know, man.
It was fucked me up though, but it
You
was.
can
it was
help
good.
more people if you just say it.
You got.
And honestly, what the fuck, man? I finally got to the point, like, if somebody judges me on that, I'm fuck it then.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's not gonna affect me, man.
Yeah. Because there's,
It's part of who I am.
Yeah.
One way, good or bad, it's
It's-
part of my life, part of my story, and that's what made me. When I sit here as now, if you want to judge me on that or my felonies or whatever, that's fine. That's your prerogative.
Yeah.
I don't need to fucking concern myself with it anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You should be grateful too that that you were given an opportunity to still have a voice to tell your fucking mother that you were a heroin addict.
And that's still
Right.
like,
Yeah.
for I didn't know until, I got into rehab that he was talking to my mom all the time while I was out there fucking off. She was like, hey, have you talked to him? Is he okay?
I have conversations with a lot of people's
I
parents. and
didn't
shit.
know that,
Some of them aren't
you know?
doing too well right now, but
Yeah.
I try to give their parents some hope or
Yeah.
fucking something, until hopefully their time comes where they get it right.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, man, and it's hard to watch people fucking die.
It
and
is.
fail and still want to get involved enough to make a difference. But fuck, man, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fucking, and it sucks too. When you come through a place like this and you build these brotherhoods, and all this good positive shit, and you and whoever your roommates are, whoever you're in treatment with, whoever you live with in sober living, whoever you go to, your sponsors, your sponsees, mentors, whatever it is, you build these plans of attack, and how are we gonna fucking dominate this addiction shit? Like, how are we gonna kick its ass every day, and then you see it creep, and then it just takes somebody, and then it's not even like a take because they relapse. It's like they take their life, and they're gone,
Yeah.
You told me when I first got, because I was like, oh, because like, hey, we're putting you in a room with two of our boys, like they're real good people. And they are, they're my brothers. And, one of them, the day he got out, fucked off. And he was telling me, he's like, it's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna get these bonds with people, and you're gonna think they're doing so good, and then all of a sudden they're either dead or back to.
That's the hardest part.
It
The
is.
worst.
It's fucking terrible.
The worst.
But you can't do any good without that, unfortunately.
I know.
But that's what we're trying to do, right? Make that less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That's the battle, And if you can keep doing it right yourself, you can lead by example at the very least.
Yeah.
And fuck it, man. That's better. That's one more person doing well that somebody could look at and say, hey man, he doing it. I can fucking do it.
Mhm.
Like you were saying about James and fucking Keen, man. Like,
They
the people and you're like, fuck with these guys, man. Like, that shit's for real possible.
And
our
our other friend Rob, he's like, I can't fucking believe all three of you are sober. Like, Doc let us all sit in a room together, and it was the first time all four of us were sober in a room together without like a pile of drugs or something.
That's a
like,
cool fucking experience, man.
It was really
powerful.
cool.
Yes.
It is. Like,
That's awesome.
It's powerful, man.
Well, I think anybody got any closing comments?
Oh man, I think
We could go forever, but we'll have you motherfuckers back if you want to
Yeah.
come.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. We got a group to go do too, and then I got some shit I gotta handle, which I'm not gonna say yet. So thanks for listening, everybody. You said before, if you got something out of this, share it wherever you share shit. Like it on YouTube. Leave some comments. If you think we could do something better, let's hear it. If you think we did something good, let's hear that too. Because we were trying to you know, do something positive for the world with this shit, and like get to some people that might need to hear it. And if there's shit we could do better or learn from, man, I'm all about it, you know, like let it rip. Like I will definitely listen to positive and negative, because this is about doing something positive. So whatever feedback you wanna give, I would love to hear it and read it and take it into consideration. And we will be doing this shit every week, you know. Santino will be back next week. And I'm sure, you know, having guys like you come in as much as you want to, and we gotta, you know, try and keep this like this, man, because I think this is good shit.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You know, have a great week.
Thank you.
Take care.